Share screen. All right, guys. So thanks for coming. I seriously am in love with the pumpkin spice lean pancakes. Low carb and gluten-free. So proud. And they actually tasted really good. So we'll do those again at our November breakfast bunch. That will be on Saturday, November, I just want to make sure I have the right Saturday. Saturday, November the 9th. The 9th. And we're going to have part 2 of Sales 101. So this is part 1. We'll have part 2, and then it will also be rank up recognition and more opportunity event style, but not like we've normally done it in the past. So it'll be a little bit new, a little bit different, so that we can kind of have like the fireside feel along with like still like a more professional opportunity event, so you can bring people to that. Okay, so mark your calendars, November 9th. Brooke Barker is going to be helping me with sales training for that event, so that'll be really good. Okay, I know you've seen this video before, a lot of you, but one of my goals for this year is to do a better job of casting vision for you all in what this can be for you. So I had a special guest surprise that I was hoping was going to work out, but it didn't. So last night we were at Alec Clark's son's wedding in Orem, and his son Hunter got married last night. And I was like praying, I was like, Alec, please tell me that on the way out of town, you can stop by my house in Draper and surprise my team. And he's like, we're leaving at 7 a.m. But he was so sad that he couldn't come. So he asked me to tell you how committed you are. If you're here today and you're doing this for yourself, that he said that you are already on the right track, and that he gives you a high five from the air. And he hopes to be able to stop by another time in the future. So like many of you, when I first signed up for Plexus, I never had any intention to do the business. I just wanted to try the products. Raise your hand if that is you as well. Okay, so that's literally everyone. Did anyone sign up for the business, didn't care about the products? A little bit? Teensy bit? Okay, so a little bit, teensy bit. So all of the time we tell people, and this is like a culture that we've created within Plexus, we say, this is not about sales. This so isn't sales. Guess what? It is 100% sales. We are 100% in sales. We are selling a product and we are selling a business. And when you embrace that, you will be 150% better at what you're doing. This does not mean that you are going to be salesy or pushy or all the things that you associate with sales. However, it is going to do you a great service to get better at sales. So my hope is that today I will give you some tips to start beginning to study what a good salesperson does to connect with the person that they are trying to sell something. The most important thing that you need to know is that it's not about the sale. That a really good salesperson cares about what they're selling, and they care about what it's going to do for the person they're selling it to. So that's why a lot of times people say this so isn't about sales, right? Because it's really about people and relationships. But when you teach yourself to become better at sales, you will become better at going forward in your business. So I'm going to teach you 7 tips today that are going to help you start to develop that within yourself so that you can better connect with people, get better enrollments, learn a better way to sell the product, and learn a better way to sell the business. Because when people ask me all the time, they're like, gosh, how do you recruit people into the business? I sell it. I sell the business, I cast the vision, And this third-party tool that we're going to start off watching today is going to make you feel something inside, and that is going to sell the business to you because you're going to emotionally connect with it, okay? So this would be the send part of the send, share, invite system. This would be the send portion of that.
The freedom and the chance to say yes to things.
Right after my daughter Ava was born, I became a single mom. I started looking at this industry, and I had some really specific criteria that I was basing my decision off of because I knew I had to support my family.
I feel it all in my skin, but nothing can touch with you.
Plexus has been so amazing. For a college student, you need something that's flexible. And that's the nice thing about Plexus is you use your own hours.
My health was becoming a priority because I see that there was hope again.
That's one less stress that we had with the finances of adoption.
I'd say we always had the heart for it, but we never had the means or capacity or the ability to do it.
Plexus for me, it's turned into how can I share this with as many people as I can to help them change their lives.
One of the first things I considered when thinking about doing this business is this really going to work for everyone?
Losing inches, I'm losing pounds, I feel great, my self-esteem has skyrocketed. When my husband says you're beautiful, I believe him now. I believe him because I feel it.
I was struggling with some health issues. I just knew this was a product I needed to be on.
It's just an amazing opportunity to be able to do extra things we probably couldn't do if we just relied on the nursing income.
And it's helped me in my career. I'm a police officer and I work at night. So it's given me that energy that I need to get through my night shift.
I have the flexibility now with Plexus. I help coach my son in Little League, and it just offers me some more time with the kids.
It's more of a choice and it's fun because we can keep up with our kids. We just go all day and we love it. I wanted, to get healthy in this way that I had no intention of telling anybody. And now I can't not tell anybody about it.
When we were looking at all the options out there with so many different companies, this compensation plan was by far the best.
Plexus this year, I have a $10,000 shopping spree. We were going to take the kids to come snow skiing. Well, we found out about him, and it turned out he was going to be born here in Utah. So we were able to purchase airline tickets for all 4 children and my parents. That has been a huge blessing. We thought we were going snow skiing, but it's really happening.
We love Reese.
I was a news reporter in Dallas, Texas. I was working the morning show, so I was literally getting up at 2:30 in the morning, going to bed at 8 o'clock at night. To get healthier, I got a health coach, and that health coach introduced me to Plexus, and it really did change everything. And so now, instead of just reporting the problems that people are facing, I'm actually helping them solve them. That is such a blessing, and it's all because of Plexus. I really do love Plexus.
We're grateful for freedom. Life.
Balance. Family.
Okay. Does anybody get emotional watching that? Tear up at all? I don't know. Maybe I'm just Big Boo. Em, will you get the lights for us? I have to fight back tears when I watch that video.
Are you ready? What you doing?
What?
What you doing?
Hold on. I'm what is that sound? Oh, where is that video? It is on Imagine Plexus, and you can go into the search bar and type in videos, and then I'll show you here. I literally got it. I showed you guys right there. So I went into the search bar of Imagine Plexus and put videos. And then it's this one here with the news, the new video resources. And that was opportunity number 2 video. Now you can't copy and paste it from here. I don't know why it doesn't show the whole, see how it says ... right there? You have to click on it and then it will take you to the right link, and then you can copy and paste the link from there. What I've done is I have this link already saved in the notes on my phone under a note that says videos, so I don't have to go to Imagine Plexus to get it. It's in the notes on my phone. That's easier for me. So There are other ones as well. Opportunity number 1 video. Let's just watch it. But before I push play, hold on. Oh, Ashley Home Store. We have a few items from there in this room. Okay, so first off, the reason why the first thing I want to teach you about sales is to be really great at selling something, you have to do your research first. So you have to know who you're talking to and what they want and how this is going to help them. You will be better at your job if you do. You don't have to know, but you will be better at your job at helping them do what you are offering them to do. You'll be better at it if you do your research first. All right? So as I was watching that video, I made some notes on my phone. Baseball dad, teacher, large family, single mom, news reporter, adoption. Because then on the notes on my phone, when I have opportunity number 2 video, it says opportunity number 2 video there, and on it, I have key people who this video might resonate with. So that if I'm talking to someone in a message and I know they're a news reporter, or I know that they're a teacher, or I know they're a single mom, I'm gonna say, oh, I have a video with someone just like you. If you have, do you have 3 minutes to watch it or whatever, right? Send the video, share a story, make a recommendation, invite to an event. Sometimes you do it in the other order depending on how the person is responding to you, right? Okay, so in the notes on your phone, when you watch these videos, and I would recommend watching 1 business video a day, either a diamond documentary or one of these, that is you doing your research. So that when the opportunity presents itself, you know what information to give. Imagine if your doctor, you're pregnant, you're gonna go have a baby, and your OB is like, okay, so excited to deliver your baby. Never done this before, actually never even read a book about it, but I'm gonna bring the books with me, and I'm sure we'll be able to figure it out. Like, how confident would that make you feel? If your doctor didn't have gone to school, hadn't have gone to school, hadn't have done the research, wasn't prepared. You wouldn't trust them, right? This doesn't mean you have to be an expert about the products. It doesn't mean you have to be an expert about the business. It just means you have to have it on the Rolodex in your brain of where to go to find the answers. And the best way to prepare yourself to do that is to just once a day put something in there. And it doesn't take much time. 3 minutes for these short videos. Diamond documentaries are between 7 and 8 minutes. And if you are really on your game, you will be able to have all of these resources ready to just pull, boom, That's why I put health stories on the team page every single day, so that you can read them and be like, oh my gosh, I just read something about this the other day. I don't remember who it was or what it was, but I remember I read something the other day. Go to Imagine Plexus. Every health story that I put up now is hashtagged with the condition, so that you can go in there and you can search it. Same with the business opportunity. Go in, search hashtags, search by the hashtags. You don't have to remember everything. You just need to remember, I saw that somewhere. Go to the team page, type in the keyword, look for it. If you can't find it there, go to another team page that you're on. If you've checked 3 team pages and cannot find it, check 3 before me, then go to a thread and ask on the thread, hey, you guys, do you remember seeing a story about a police officer? I'm talking with one. I need a story to validate the business to them, or I need a story to validate the health products to them, right? And then someone can help you. But always check 3 before me. And when you have these resources in your brain to recall, you're going to be that much more able to sell them, to validate to them what you're doing, okay? So we're gonna watch opportunity video number 1 this time. And I want you to take some notes as you're watching it of who would be a great person to share it with. Like as you're watching it, like on the first time how I went through and said, baseball dad, large family, because they had that family with like 10 people sitting around the table, news reporter, like what things are popping out at you as you're watching it, and you're like, oh, that'd be good to share it with. So take those notes as you watch it this time. After the Ashley Home Furniture.
We're so excited to now offer our customers baby furniture from the most trusted brands in the industry.
We're gonna skip you.
We saw vision. We knew that in order for us to be together and live life on our terms, that we needed something more. Started noticing I wasn't sleeping as well, and I couldn't go as strong all day. I would have my crashes. Like I didn't know what a crash was hardly before that. I did always very much long for our family to be together more and for us to be able to travel. I was like, I gotta do something to fix this. I don't want this to be forever, right?
It was such a wake-up moment for us as a family. It shook my world, so I just started searching.
It wasn't until a meeting with a financial advisor. She said, there's never a margin. You're the first client, but I don't know how to fix this for you.
I started seeing health issues that just dominoed in the wrong direction drastically. It's hard to be happy when you don't have the energy to smile. We had heard about Plexus, and after 2.5 years, I couldn't believe it, honestly. I knew that I was not just healthy. I was strong. I was better. The opportunity to be able to do business at your pace is incredible.
I love what I do. My business is to help other women exactly like I was in my situation. I never thought that it would have that big of an impact as it has. I'm never going to stop telling people because I want them to have the same options.
This is a perfect product and tool for us to be able to change the world. For me, it feels like we're in the prime of life and we have such a bright future. Now that I'm healthy, I want to thrive. I want to do things. I want to travel. I want to be present and just enjoy everything that's out there. And I love it. I'm excited about this. I'm excited about our future.
So good. Okay. And sorry, we get the lights again. Guess what, guys? Last year, 400 million people Googled how to start a home-based business.
Oh, wow.
400 million. Also interesting statistic, starting a network marketing business decreased by 13%. Why? We're not selling it good enough. We're not selling it good enough. This is the best home-based business that you can start with zero overhead. There is nothing that you have to do to source your products, merchandise it, ship, return, Plexus does all of that for you. They run your payroll, they run your commissions, they pay your people that work for you, and guess what that creates? Entitlement. Because it's handed to you. You don't appreciate it. Not you, but as a whole, when everything is handed to you, typically, it's hard to appreciate how easy you have it, right? So what if you shifted your mindset and you shifted you focused more on gratitude? This is just suggestions. I need them myself too. I'm not like, Sean calls this planchar, like in Spanish, planching you. Like, I'm not trying to rip anyone. I'm not ripping into anyone in particular. This wasn't made for anyone in particular. Just as a whole, as network marketers, as direct sellers, whatever you want to call it, we can do better. Chris.
Do you mind to say this? So at the same time that I started Plexus, my husband retired after 25 years from the place he'd been working, and he started his own business. I didn't plan to start Plexus as a business, of course.
Yep.
But anyway, so we went through everything to start up his business, and we did not know what we were doing. So 3 years into both now, I have to tell myself a lot because, so his business is running, doing well. Have we had some hard hits with taxes, with payroll, hiring the right bookkeeper to help us because we don't know how to do QuickBooks, and we have to turn in all these papers and we get behind and just all this stuff.
Yeah.
But I said to him one day, because the business that we do, he has to have his phone, his business phone, in his hand to receive calls. Because if he doesn't receive calls and take the appointments, we don't have a business, right?
Guess what?
He won't get paid.
Guess what? Me too.
Yeah.
Who else complains about that all the time?
But sometimes we forget. Like, I had to tell him, because if I go and lock myself in the office and I try to message and get my things done, my kids will come in and say, hey, Mom, can you watch her while I go run here? Hey, Mom, what are you doing? Can you do this? And so I had to make it a point that if he didn't have his work phone and answered those calls that came through every single day, if he set his phone down and didn't look into it for 3 or 4 days, he wouldn't have a business. We would have vans sitting in our driveway and he would have no business. We would not have checks coming in. And so I had to remind him that.
So, okay, hold on 1 second.
Sorry.
So those of you that don't check in on your business for 3 to 4 days, do you find yourself saying, oh, why am I not ranking up? Why am I not making any money? Because you're not working.
Right. And it's easy.
And in a traditional business, you would never do that.
Right.
This is a traditional business in your hand that has the ability to make you more money than any traditional business you could ever do.
Right.
You're wasting it.
It's easy to forget that.
Yes. I did it too.
And that's what we have to remember.
I did it too. Right? So I really want you to see the parallels here and start looking at this as a cupcake shop that you opened, an online boutique that you opened, an Instagram account that you opened to sell a product. If you pour into your network marketing business like you would pour into I hate saying it this way, real job, because this is a real job, but in your mind, it might not be.
Things are so easy
doing that
sometimes we forget.
And I can empathize with that because I was that way almost until Diamond. That was my thinking, right?
It's just hard.
Yes. Do you have any other? That was perfect.
That was just what.
Okay. So, so commitment level, being serious about your business, because if you're not putting the time in, you won't get the results. Right? And then you think, oh, this business doesn't work for me. No, you're not working for you. Right? You have to shift your mindset around this.
And not to have to worry about all those other things.
But you have the benefit of the paycheck.
So easy.
We do.
because, like I said, I do all the payroll and the stress for his business.
Yes.
And that is so stressful.
So awful.
And so I think, like you said, we just take the simplicity of it for granted.
Yes.
I do. I know
I totally do.
And I have to constantly remind myself
Yes.
that I have to do my part.
Yes.
And my part is very little compared to if I had started something else.
Yes.
Doing it. And then I would justify saying, well, I didn't want to start a business.
Right.
I just wanted to be a grandma and a mom.
Well, and that's
But-
the thing, right? Is most of us didn't sign up to do a business. We would never have opened up a brick or mortar shop, right? We would have never done that. But yet here we have something like, how many times in your life are you like, gosh, I never planned to do this, but God had other plans for me.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I found myself doing something I never planned on doing.
And I did work. Over the years, I've worked. When I started Texas, I was working 3 jobs because I needed to contribute because he left his job.
Yes.
And I was working 3 jobs, but not ever in that time frame when I was working literally around the clock. My checks were never what they are with Texas. So I was running the treadmill of the traditional things.
Yes.
And like you said, your checks just will never equal.
And
we forget.
And I'm not saying you have to work 8 hours a day to work your business, you guys, but I want you to start thinking about your Plexus business of when you sit down to check your messages and just show up. I want you to think of that as, I'm going to my shop and I'm open for business. So that I need you to make that connection in your brain so that you can start to be accountable for the time you're putting in and stop blaming the business, your sponsor, the team page, the threads, the whatever. Stop blaming all those things because it's not a matter of any of that. You have everything on this team. You have way too much, right? Like there's no reason to not succeed. It's just how many times a week are you opening up the door and turning the open sign on? That's all. Just have a greater awareness of that so that you can have a more realistic view of what result you should expect in return, right? So if you're gonna open your door for business once a day or once a week for 1 hour, then that's the return in money that you should expect back. That's what you want to expect back, right? If you are going to open your door for business 2 hours a day, that's what you're going to get back in a paycheck.
Yeah, just think if you did open a cute little boutique, for example, you know that you would be posting pictures of the shirts that you sold or the pants that you sold to try to draw attention, so people would know about your little shop.
Anything of that on Instagram. They're
Nobody
like,
thinks.
oh, she posted 5 outfits today. You know what I mean? Like, you don't
They're
think,
like, oh, I want to help my
And
friend's
so I think
business.
it's just our mindset.
It's the shift in the mindset. Okay, so now that we've done that, also the other thing that I was going to say is I get messages a lot of, Emily, I need your help. Can you help me? Will you work with me? And my answer to you is I work with you all the time. I do IPA challenges that not very many people do anymore, that I put a lot of time and energy and effort into. Those are the exact things that I do to work my personal business. In 4 years, I have never had a month where I haven't personally sponsored someone. Ever. Because I work my personal business. So the reason why I share that with you is not to brag or not to be like, oh my gosh, no. Okay? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I know what works because I'm doing it with you, because I like it. There's a lot of I think misunderstanding of like why I'm asking you to do what I'm asking you to do, and it's because I'm literally showing you what works for me. And so if you'll model that, right? There's 2 3-day challenges a month. Prior to the 3-day challenge, there's an IPA challenge on the team page where I'm giving you the messages that I'm sending out that are helping me get people say yes into the challenge. Then I do trainings on, oh, this is how to do an Instagram poll. This is what's worked for me. If you have something that works for you, I want you to be training on it. I want you to message me and say, Emily, can I do a Facebook Live on the team page? I found something that worked and it's different than what you did. And then I'll be so excited that someone else is talking on the team page than me, right? So there are so many times to have private training for me that you might be missing out on because you don't know it's there, or you think that there's something more magical that would happen if you were sitting next to me, right? There's nothing more magical. You are sitting next to me virtually in those places. So the IPA challenges, twice a month, if you will do them every day, I mean, it's only like 5 days of work twice a month, right? So 10 out of 30 days working side by side with me if you take that opportunity, right? Then the Q&A calls are once a week where you get to sign up. I was so sad yesterday when I went on there at the end of the day and not a single person had signed up.
But it was full.
It wasn't full.
Last week?
It was
Was it
full.
full now?
I don't know. I haven't checked. But I was just like, I thought for a second, I was like, I always internalize it and I'm like, what am I doing wrong as a leader? What aren't they seeing? Right? Because that's what I go inside instead of like blaming outside. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Right? And so then I watch a video, read a book, how to be a better leader. I go to fix it internally. I think that's a reason why I've been so successful, is when something's wrong externally, I go, what can I do in myself to get better? Okay, so that's where you get private training for me. That's where you get one-on-one training for me. And it is more effective than you coming over to my house for an hour to work with me. And just speaking from experience. Joey.
I would like you to know that there are many of us that feel like I don't sign up because I feel like you're answering the questions.
Oh.
So like I never have a question to like personally work on.
Yes.
Because I recognize like I'm not taking action. I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a video she made. Like so
But you're super self-motivated.
But that's the thing, I want you to know that some of us,
yes,
it's not you. Like
yes.
you know, we're doing amazing
But
job.
it really is me sometimes. And that's okay. Right? Like that's part of becoming a better leader. Is saying, all right, I need to step up my game. I need to try something different to engage them differently. Like have a conversation that's uncomfortable to have because they don't like to have this conversation with my team, right? But it's because it's like that tough love that's so important, right? Did anyone watch Bob Heilig's Tough Love yesterday that he talked about? So again, making sure that you are not just like when you are having a problem, go do a little bit of research so that you can be a better leader, okay? So the IPA challenges, the 3-day blitzes, the Q&A live calls. We also have accountability call on Wednesday night from 9:30 to 10. I know that's late for some of you. So if that time doesn't work, or you are visiting another, maybe you're in another accountability call with Christy or Chelsea or Brooke or whatever, that's fine. You don't have to come to mine. They're all there for you to plug into wherever it serves you best, okay? So, and if Christy or Brooke are doing a 3-day challenge and you would rather do theirs, that's fine too. It's a matter of you consistently plugging people in and challenging yourself to plug people in. That's important, right? We're all here just providing it for you so that you can find the best niche for yourself and what's going to serve your people best, okay? Okay, so Sales 101.
Can I add something really quickly?
Yes, yes. I'm like, whoa, the TV is talking to me.
It's good. Hi. I just want to say how valuable it is that you run these IPA challenges, because what you're saying, how I'm internalizing what you're saying is that when people are asking you for help, you can say, well, I've already spelled it all out for you. I've already done all the work. Take my hand, do it, and you'll succeed. And as I am leading my own team, when people ask me, will you work with me? What I plug them into is your IPA challenge. I have something, a tool for myself, but also a tool as a leader that is invaluable to me, that I can plug people in and be like, this is what work should look like every single day. you don't have an IPA challenge every day, but this, I tell my team, this is training you what you need to be doing for the rest of the week when there is no IPA challenge. This is the baseline of what work looks like. And that is just invaluable to have a resource, to have everything spelled out. So thank you for myself, but also thank you for my team.
You're welcome. I really love the Rocktober challenge this month that Brooke created with the 3 asks, because it's so basic, but it has even, you've been doing that, it even has pushed me to recruit people I wouldn't have recruited. Like, I have someone, a major dream teamer that literally would change the way Plexus does network marketing if she buys into what I'm selling her. It will change the way it will change everything. And I wouldn't have reached out to her without that challenge, because sometimes I'm not in the habit of 3 asks a day. I'll do IPA, I'll sit down and I'll like just try and get somebody enrolled. But like this consistency of 3 asks a day, you guys, this is how I built my team to diamond. 3 asks a day, 5 days a week. 3 asks a day. That was it. That's what I did. And so, okay, so those are all
my kids that. Like,
yes.
I was like, I only have to do 3. So you have to be patient. Yep. I get my 3. It's like, whenever you're on, Mom. 2. Okay. Okay. It's really great. Like, it's actually that important with him.
Yes. So all of these things are there for you. And then the last and final thing, because I know it's overwhelming. Like, I know it's a lot, and there's so much going on because you have so many amazing leaders that are all really engaged and trying their best, right? And so if ever you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed, I don't know what to do, I want you to be like, but they're doing their best, right? Like, give yourself grace, give us grace. We're all just trying to help you be successful, right? So, okay, so how to get better at sales. This is so important. My 7 tips. Are you ready? Okay, first of all, you may not have a professional history in sales. I didn't. My dad is a realtor. He's a top realtor in the peninsula, and I think I got a lot. I think I had a little bit of a foundation there because of him. But as a small business owner, which you are, I don't know if you know that, but you are a small business owner, you are inherently the best person for the job to sell your business, your product, your everything. There's no one better who understands what your business stands for, why it offers your customers value, what sets it apart than you, its creator. Your home business began the day that you decided that you had something that everyone needed. Not necessarily the day you signed up, but that moment where you thought, oh my gosh, everyone has to know about this. That's the day that your business began, right? And no one is going to work harder for your business than you. Your team won't work harder than you. You will be the hardest working person that your business will ever have. And that feels lonely almost all the time. I mean, look around. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people working. I feel alone most days. So that feeling when you're like, gosh, I feel like it's just me. Like, I feel like I'm the only one working. That never goes away. Mm-hmm. Even when you have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people working on your team, you'll still feel that way. That's normal. That's leadership. It's lonely at the top. Loneliness is a feeling that you should just get comfortable with, because that is going to force you to grow and change and dig deep inside of yourself in no other way that anything else can. So whether you are extroverted, introverted, really charismatic, or soft-spoken, you can sell anything to anyone if you believe in it, if it means something to you. So here's how. Number 1, know your business benefits like the back of your hand. If you don't know the benefit, how can you sell it? Now, that doesn't mean you need to know every benefit about every product or everything about the compensation plan. I still don't think I know everything about the compensation plan, you guys. I for sure didn't know about it when I hit diamond. So you don't have to know all those things, right? Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Bridget Ryan, if you guys know who she is a diamond ambassador in Plexus. And she told me that she literally knew nothing until way after diamond. She's like, it didn't need to. I was making money. I told people I was making money. I was using the products. I told them what they were doing for me. Other people started using the products. I told them what they were doing for those other people, and they signed up. It's that simple, and we complicate it, right? We're like, oh, we have to put on this big, huge, fancy event. We have to look like professionals. We have to, have this and that, and everything be perfect, and I have to know everything, and it has to be just right and perfect. No, it doesn't, right? It just has to have the heart of you knowing the benefits and telling them what they are, okay? And a good sales person will know what benefits are going to hit the pain points of the person they're selling it to, right? So let's say you have someone who has 400,000 followers on Instagram. Who's your friend? This is a crazy example that probably will never happen, right? But just so that we can kind of really use an extreme to point out some ways that you could market the business to someone who's already very successful in another business that's not necessarily traditional, okay? So you say to them, hey, gosh, it's probably taken you years and years and a lot of money to get that many followers on Instagram. That is really impressive. And they're like, yeah, wow, it has. Thank you so much. It's been a lot of sacrifice, right? And then you say to them, gosh, I've really been thinking about how, that also must be hard sometimes because Instagram can basically change the laws of your business with one snap, and you have no control over that. They could one day just be we're no longer gonna have followers shown anymore. That's not something we value anymore. Or, whatever it is. They can just change the way that they structure Instagram, and all of that work that you've done is gone because of nothing you've done wrong, but because they changed the platform, right? And they're like, yeah, it actually does scare me, and I'm actually working for other ways to try and figure out how to monetize my followers. A lot of influencers I'm seeing now are doing their own makeup brushes, their own t-shirts. They're branding.
They're doing what we're doing.
Oh, they are. Yes. You guys know this, right? Instagram is a giant MLM, and only about 100 people are the ones making money.
Yeah.
Right? It's a giant MLM. Right? Okay. But none of us make money off of it if we're buying from them, just them. Right? Just like Target. Just like Target and Walmart and every other business out there. Yeah. Okay. So, and it's not a bad thing. It's just, that's what it is. It's the way you view it, right? So, so you say something to them, and you can say this to any sort of a traditional business owner as well. Gosh, so really, if you were to ever, do something like I'm doing, it would actually be attaching a compensation plan to all those followers. I mean, 80% of people are buying a vitamin from the grocery store anyway. They might as well buy it from you, and you get a kickback from that. It's like a paid partnership, basically, except it's residual income from a company that provides probiotics, vitamins, blood sugar balance products. And then they go, oh, yeah, actually that, I don't want to be a seller. I don't want to sell people anything, right? That's it. What everyone's saying is, well, I don't want to be salesy or pushy. And you go, I know, I don't either. That was my biggest fear when I started Plexus. I didn't want to be like that. So instead, what I did is I just shared stories, and I cared about the people that I knew needed the products, and I didn't have to worry about that anymore, right? But what it gave me in return was a steady paycheck, because the other thing about people who make their money on Instagram, just like any other small business, one month you make 15,000, the next month you make 60, the next month you make 2. It goes up and down. Guess what? My paycheck has never done that in Plexus. Never. It's always just gone like this. Just Slow and steady. I can rely on it on the 15th of every month, sometimes early. Like, I think we're going to get paid on the 14th because, we got paid. It did go into our accounts yesterday. I saw the Paylution email and I was like, yes!
Yeah.
We got the money early. I'm so excited. And then I go in and I pay off all my credit cards. I pay all my bills. And I remember how awful it used to feel when I didn't have the money to do that. Guess what? That's the part you sell to people. That part. That's the pain point. That's where they go, oh my gosh, that's me. Right? So whether you're talking to your best friend, the girl you haven't talked to since high school, or a stranger on Instagram, you have one thing in common: human experience. And it's your job to figure out what your connection to them is, and sometimes you have to do your research, right? Do they own a small business? What does their small business do? Go to their webpage, read about it. Show your husband, oh, this is so interesting, look what they do for work. Wow, that must be really unstable also. So they have all these unstable businesses that are making them a lot of money right now, but what are the benefits that Plexus could offer them? Well, Plexus is going to offer you, hold on, let me just read you some of the benefits. I don't have all the benefits memorized. I am 4 years into this and I do not have all the benefits memorized, but I know where to look to find them, right? So here are the benefits. Within social media selling, there are very few opportunities that generate true wealth. Wealth that comes from both residual income and opportunities to grow your personal network come from Plexus, right? You're not just growing your wealth, you're growing your personal network. How big is your network now that you are in Plexus? This is a huge thing we are not selling to people. Small business owner, they already own a business, right? They already own a business. They want to sell to more people. So if you have someone that has they own a shop and they sell t-shirts, or they have a boutique or whatever, or any sort of business, they want more people to sell to. Guess what? The relationships that you make on our network marketing team, guess who you're going to be able to sell to? All those people. So not only is it going to expand your wealth, it's also going to expand your network to a whole new group of people that you're going to be able to market to, because you're going to know them and have relationships with them. So those are two benefits that you can start selling to people better than you are right now, right? Yes. Okay, next benefit. Partnering with Plexus creates an opportunity for you to work with a $500 million organization that provides an opportunity for you to be on the ground floor of our next phase of growth. Because we're going to go from $500 million to $1 billion. That's our next jump. So this is a selling point. This is a benefit that we can offer people, right? And this is recording, so you can go back and and I'll put the notes on this in threads so that you know these benefits. So you don't have to memorize them, right? You can pull them up on your phone when you're shaking. Your phone is shaking and you're talking to them on the phone and you're like, I'm so nervous to talk to this person. It's fine. If you're on the phone, they don't see you. You can be like pacing. You're like walking all around the house. You're like, within a network, within a social media selling economy, there are very few opportunities to generate wealth. And you're like barely breathing, but you're just reading off what's on the notes on your phone. Like I literally did this on Monday, you guys, to a massive, massive dream teamer. I just read off the notes and I sounded really good. Not because I had it memorized or knew what I was doing. I just was trying. Nicole.
That's like what I do. I follow what Emily says. I write it down. And she goes, practice this. And I go, okay. I write it all down. And then I'll be shaking on the phone, trying to sound like I'm not reading it. Like legit.
Yes.
Like just like, okay. And then I do like,
this is what I do. This is what I do. This is how I learned to coach people through. This is how I learned to coach people through detox in the beginning. I would Google Candida yeast, Candida diap, and I would click on it, and I'd pull up the website, and I would like read it to them, sounding like I knew something. And then after I did it like 75 times, I memorized it. Now I don't have to go to the webpage anymore. Eventually, you'll just start speaking like this if you say it enough times. Right? Okay, next benefit. We can create content for you to add value to your personal network using our scientific officers to provide you with cutting edge research and information to provide to your network. It sounds so fancy and professional, doesn't it? All the shareables are in your back office. It's a really fancy way to tell them, oh, we have shareables and graphics. That doesn't mean anything to them, but this might mean something to them. Also, we can add additional benefit to your network by providing instant first-time discounts to encourage buying, being able to plug into our company incentives to drive customer loyalty. It sounds so professional, doesn't it? You can sound like this. You just have to read it off, right? And make it sound like you as you use it, right? This is like just a map. And then the more you use it, you're like, I sounded so stupid and it totally didn't work and that was not me. So then next time you're gonna do it a little bit differently. You're gonna be like, well, this is how I would say it. This is how I would be comfortable saying it. And you shift it a little bit. Okay, so number one was know your business benefits, like the back side of your hand. So just make a few bullet points of what benefits. If those benefits that I shared with you don't resonate with you, that's fine. You just need to have a note on your phone that say business benefits and list off 4 or 5 that you can refer to when you're trying to sell the business to someone. Okay, shift your mindset away from selling and shift it toward helping people better their lives. You guys are already really great at that, right? You're already so good at that. List the benefits and value-added features that you genuinely believe could benefit your customers. Just make a note on your phone. All the benefits of the business that I feel, and then all the benefits of the health. So that you don't have to think about it in the moment when you're nervous, or you're outside of your comfort zone, or you're in a hurry, or you're distracted. If you list them somewhere, it'll be easier to just open it up and recall it. Okay, the more top of mind, this is so key, the more top of mind these points are to you, meaning when they're on the tip of your tongue because you have access to them in a fast way, you've already thought of them beforehand, you've done the preparation before, then the more comfortable you will be as you speak them. And then the more comfortable you will be to add in another layer of incorporating them into a sales conversation. Okay, number 2. So number 1 was know your benefits. How do you know your benefits? Well, you write them down. You study them a little bit. You ask someone, gosh, like Emily said to write down the benefits and I literally can't think of one. And your sponsor's gonna be like, oh, well, I mean, your paycheck is a benefit, right? Plexus ships, returns, does whatever all for you. That's a benefit. Benefit is you get to work from home where you would never own a small business. You can work from home and own a small business and you decide if you want to open your doors an hour a week or an hour a day. You get to be the boss of that, right? Okay, so those are some benefits. Number 2, listen more. Best advice I have for you, put a big star by this. If you go wrong in your sales approach, it's almost always because you said too much. Said too much, you distracted them, you put doubt in them, and now they're feeling something weird, and so they don't want to do it, right? So listen more. How do we do this? Well, they come, let's just, for example, they say they want more information. They've either come to you and said, hey, tell me more about Plexus, or you sent a message to them and they say, no, I haven't ever heard of it before, but that sounds interesting. You say, what interests you the most? Why is that so important?
You're making it about that.
You are listening. They are telling you all the answers that you need to know. That's what good sales does, is you let them tell you all the secrets in their mind when you listen. So they are telling you everything that you need to sell them on, right? So you say, what interested you the most? And they go, well, I am interested because I have a few pounds to lose, and I'm always tired. And but you know, we just don't have a lot of money, so I'm not sure if I can do it. They've just told you the 3 pain points that you need to work with now. So as you are learning, it's great to even like make some notes, put their name on, and say weight loss. What was the other thing I said? Weight loss, energy, no money. So it's your job to help them validate how our benefits are going to do that. The way I recommend doing that is in the version of a story. Send the video to show them what Plexus is. Say, here's a 1-minute video. Send that. What interests you the most? Then validate with a health story. So here's a health story about how it's going to help you lose weight. You also saw that in the video I just sent. And here is trying to think of if I go back and forth with this, and I don't feel like there's a right or wrong way. So I don't want you to get stuck on, Emily said you have to do this next. Sometimes I will send an opportunity video with the business, but sometimes I'll send a written story about the business, okay? So, but I don't send it back to back. It should always be a very give, receive, not give, take. Give a video, receive something back. Give a story, receive something back. Whenever I like get really lazy and I'm like, okay, I know exactly what to do. I'm gonna send this, I'm gonna send this, and I'm gonna send this. So I'll send all 3 right now because I don't know, I can't sit here for 10 minutes and wait for them to respond, right? When I get impatient, then I just send it all and then they don't respond because I've overwhelmed them. I've given them too much, right? It has to be conversational, back and forth. If I was talking to Chris and she told me those 3 things, I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, okay, you need to take these projects. This is how it works. I have this friend that does this, and you don't need to worry about the money because I have this friend that does this. And Chris is like, okay, done with her. I'm gonna start walking away now. And you're like on the end, like, what did I do? Well, in real life, you would never have done that. That is weird in conversation. It's also weird in text message, okay? So listen more. Selling isn't about talking. And you don't have to be the type of person who wants to command a room in order to sell. Sales is about listening to a potential customer to understand who they are. Understand who they are. Write that in big capital letters. Understand who they are and what makes them tick. What challenges they face and what problems you might be able to help them solve with what you are offering them, what our benefits, our products could offer them. In fact, when you apply the 80-20 rule to sales, only 20% of interaction should be you talking. 80% should be them talking to you. 20% you talking to them. It's mostly them talking, you listening, and in your mind, you're thinking all the ways and you're gonna just give a little bite back, okay? So how do you get better at being a better listener? Number 3 of our 7 Sales 101 top tips is practice asking questions. To learn more about your potential ambassador or customer's needs, you have to be comfortable asking open-ended questions without feeling pushy. Open-ended questions, right? So explain you can practice on your family, right? The ones that don't mind hearing about Plexus, obviously. You can practice with your friends and family to practice, right? So explain your business to your friends and family and encourage them to ask honest questions about any aspect of your business that they don't understand or that they see as unbeneficial. The more practice you have at people throwing curveballs at you and asking you questions you weren't planning on, the better prepared you will be to change the course of the conversation or your approach as needed on an actual sales call. right? You're like, oh my gosh, Emily, it sounded so easy. Like, how do you do it so well? Because I've been in so many interactions with people. Like, we're talking over 10,000 three-way messages. Like, I can't even count how many I've been in. I've talked to so many people that have shot me down, told me no. That's why it's so easy, because I've literally had every single curveball, I've flopped so many times that I know how I would answer it because I've done it before, right? Okay, so just practice on your husband, practice on a friend, and have them ask questions. In fact, as I'm like telling you this, I'm like, gosh, maybe that's how I could talk to my one friend from years and years and years ago, is just say, hey, I need to practice on you. And then you never know, they might end up finding something of value in that session that they would never have said, yeah, I'll try your stuff. But as you practice on them, they might be interested. Now, don't manipulate the situation and do that with everyone, because that's not the exercise here that we want to do, right? Okay, next, number 4, invest your energy in qualified customers or ambassadors. Investing your energy into prospects that closely fit your ideal customer will yield a bigger sales result with less wasted effort. So what does that mean? Well, on Instagram, I can't tell you how many times I have done a really great job of getting someone sold on the business to a 16-year-old that I did not know was 16. And at the end, they're like, oh, that sounds so great. I'm just going to ask my mom. And I'm like, how old are you? She's like, oh, I'm 15. I'm like, great. Yeah, you can't order. Sorry. Like, even this hasn't happened a ton, but another time there was like a couple months stretch where I had a lot of 18-year-olds that were still in high school. And she's like, no, I have my own debit card. Like, it's fine. I'm like, it's really not fine. You live at home with your parents. You're a senior in high school. I don't feel comfortable with this. She's like, well, I'm just going to ask her. And I was like, I just don't want you to. Like, let's just have a nice life. Like, love you. Bye. Right? Then I got an email from mom, and I was like, no, I did not encourage this. She's like, just take us off your list. I'm like, you're not on my list, okay? You're not on my list. Okay, so what does that look like? If you typically read the sports section in the newspaper, skip to the lifestyle articles one day, right? If your instinct is to listen to rock, okay, sorry, this is where I'm going with this. I forgot a step. So, I skipped ahead, sorry. Okay, so compile your list of qualified prospects and track your activity. So record information about who you spoke to, what you talked about, and what came from that. And when you're going to contact them again, you'll start to see patterns in your mind. There's really no means to an end in this other than you're going to start to see the patterns of who you seem to be interacting with well, right? Like, I find that I interact really well with people who are in between 40 and 50 on Instagram. That's who I seem to attract. Probably because of Good Things Utah, but that's who I seem to attract, right? Okay, so number 4 was invest your energy in qualified customers. Number 5, be a sponge. This is so important. A really good salesperson is going to adapt to whoever they are talking to, and they're going to use language that would relate to that person. The broader your interests, the better your ability to speak the language of any prospect. So commit to learning one thing that's outside of your comfort zone every single week. Just one thing. If you typically read the sports section in the newspaper, skip to the lifestyle section once a day, just to see what people who would be interested in that might like. Just so you can be a little bit more educated about people that are different than you, so that when you meet those people, you can very easily know what to talk to them about and have an intelligent conversation with them. If your instinct is to listen to rock on the drive to take your kids to school. I doubt that that's what that is. You're probably like more like pop, maybe your country. I don't know what you like to listen to. I tend to resonate with more like pop music. But if your instinct is to do that, then maybe one day a week, listen to like a news talk radio. Just one day a week, news talk radio, NPR, something like that. The more you learn, the more you can connect with a range of people. The more you can connect with a range of people, what happens? You keep the conversation interesting when you're talking to them, and you're flowing things into your knowledge that you're going to be able to put back out later. Now, you can be more intentional about this. If you're overwhelmed, like just everyone take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. We're just getting awareness today of sales, right? That's why we're doing part 1, then we'll do part 2, then we'll probably do part 3 to 75 later, right? It's not like just a learned overnight skill. This is practice. We're just having an awareness so that we can get better as time goes on, right? So one thing that you can do is if you have someone that you're interested, you're like, they are your dream teamer, what you do is you start being really interested in the things that they're interested in. Not with bad intentions, not to be manipulative, and not to be inauthentic. Like, if you really don't care about, like, if you're like, I just can't connect with that person because I do not have any interest in anything they're doing, and it's literally like sucking the life and energy out of me trying to, that's not your person. Just let someone else have them. Right? Because you don't want to have to be trying so hard to make it work that you're miserable along the way. It's so much more fun to date someone that you like doing the same things as them. But sometimes you find someone to date that you're like, wow, I've always wanted to learn how to roller skate. And she loves roller skating. Ice skating. Emily, ice skating, right?
In the same sweater.
Yeah, in the same sweater. So, like, it can actually really build friendship and enhance your life when you are interested in people and what they're doing. So you could say there's that one person I want to start being interested in what they're interested in so I can have something to talk about them with. Right? Everyone good on that? Seeing that? Okay. Number 6, be specific about your goal for each sales call, sales message, recruiting message, whatever you want to say there. You guys know what I'm talking about? Each time that you go to cold message someone, each time that you go to get on a call, I like to talk about the business on the phone with people. Like the person that I was telling you about that is my dream teamer, I messaged her and I said, I have a really great business idea. Do you have 10 minutes to talk with me on the phone tomorrow about it? And her response was, yeah, sure, I have 10 minutes tomorrow morning. And so I was like, oh gosh, it worked. Like, I was like, what am I going to say? How am I going to go into that conversation? How am I going to sell it to her? How am I going to help her overcome the objections? And so in my mind, and then we couldn't get a hold of each other. So for 3 days, every time I was in the shower, every time I was driving my kids to school, I was thinking, okay, if I start with this first, I would play out the conversation in my head. If I start with saying to her, this way to show the value and the benefit, how much money do you make? That feels weird. I'm not going to say it like that. But I could say, oh, I've been talking to some friends who also have a significant following on Instagram, and they said that they make about this much money a month. Would you say that you make equal to that or a little bit more? And then I thought, that feels comfortable. So that's how I decided to lead that call, right? Because I'm trying to, is everyone following why I would start with that way? I'm trying to engage without being pushy, salesy. I am asking questions that are open-ended so that she does 80% of the talking and I do 20% of the talking and 80% of the listening, right? So finding ways in your mind before you go into the call, into the message, play out in your mind what you would say and what you think they'll say back. And if you don't like where that naturally flows, then you need to figure out some other way to say it to get that response that you're looking for. Is everyone following me or did I lose you? Good. So I play out the conversations in my head a ton because you want to be specific about what is the goal. The goal is for them to have interest, not necessarily to be like, I'm in, I'm signed up, but to create interest. So you're not looking for a yes or no, you're looking for a conversation most of the time. Okay, so there is a man named David Epstein, author of The Sports Gene, learned in his research about the factors that determine superior athletes. In them, he found that success is closely linked to how specific a goal a person sets. We could have a whole training just on this, but we don't have that time because we're all like ready to go, right? We're almost done. The reason I share this with you is because setting a goal and detailing exactly how each call is going to go to help you achieve that goal, how each day of work is going to go to help you achieve that goal, is going to help you have a better return on what you're putting out. Your specific action steps will change repeatedly, but taking the time to include this little bit of detail, like a goal, a specific goal, is going to be, it's extra time spent, but it is not wasted. So at the beginning of every month, if you don't have a goal for how many people you're going to personally sponsor and how you're going to achieve it with certain actions, you're setting yourself up for failure right off the bat, right? If you, like whatever rank you are at now, you should have a goal to either re-rank that or go beyond it. And then your actions each day should match how you're going to achieve that. So if you're like, gosh, I want to get to gold, or I want to re-rank gold, or I want to get to senior gold, then you want to have a goal of that, which is scary to write down because then it's real. You're like, oh, you don't really want to do any of the work though, right? But write down the goal and then map it out. The first week of every month, Q&A Live is all about, you can sign up for a coaching session to be coached for me to do the numbers for you, right? So you can come to that call. You can sign up for that call if you want it done for you, for your specific numbers, or you can do it by watching others. Okay, so number 7, be armed with the tools to pull the trigger. Guns out, right? Be armed with the tools to pull the trigger. Purchase hesitancy is a reality of what we do. Yes? Agreed? 5 little pumpkins sitting on a fence. That's the Q&A Live for next Wednesday Q&A Live call, right? So support your sales efforts with tools that allow you to pull the trigger as soon as the customer is ready to buy. Okay, so they say, that sounds amazing. What do you say?
What's your phone number? Can I call you right now?
Yep. If you haven't made product recommendations, you're gonna give them that and then you say, are you ready? Are you ready? Like last night, I followed up with 2 people that were on the fence and I said, guess what? I just got a brand new $40 off code that's even better than the 21 I had earlier. Would this help in helping you be ready to order? Would this make a difference? I said, would this make a difference in helping you be ready to order? Both of them said yes, and I'm setting them up later today. We'll see if it actually happens, but they are confirmed. We have a time. I have their phone numbers. What could go wrong? A lot of things, but at least we have those things in place, right? So as a business owner, you already have the grit, determination, and passion needed to be really good at this. You're probably just lacking the practice, right? So use these steps to practice speaking to people, asking questions about their needs, and arming yourself to be ready for them to say yes to you. And if you get stuck, come to the Q&A Live call, sign up for coaching so that I can help you get unstuck while training everyone else that's on the calls. These systems are in place so you can succeed. And I hope that today I was able to give you a bigger picture, like a bird's eye view of all the moving parts of all the systems that can seem very overwhelming when you're not in charge of it, right? So all of these systems of the IPA challenges, the 3-day blitz, thank you so much, Chris, for everything. The IPA challenges, the 3-day blitzes, the Facebook event that we're doing 1 to 2 times a month as a team, the Q&A live calls, they are all there to help support you, but they are not the work. Those are just systems in place for you to be supported while you work. And that's the crazy part, right? Because if you're doing all the systems, you're like, how come it's not working? How come it's not working? I'm doing all the stuff. If you're not doing the 3 asks every day, the 3 asks are the work, right? Learning about how to sell it better, having the knowledge to be able to say, you need this. Those are the things that you need. Plug into the systems to support you as you're doing that work. Because when you go to work as a school teacher, I remember first day, dream job. That's all I ever wanted to do was grow up and be a teacher, right? First day of school, I like had this whole thing planned out, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be a great day. We're gonna do lots of talking. We're gonna talk about like all these, like, I'm such an idiot, you guys. 3rd graders, right? And I'm like, oh, we're gonna like talk, but my minor was in psychology, so that just like tells you a little bit, right? I was like, oh, we're gonna like talk about our feelings, and we're gonna talk about like all these amazing ideas and how to search for your why, like why you wanna like ask lots of questions. And by the first recess, I was like, oh my gosh, I've made a total mistake here. I have nothing planned for the first day of school. And I ran next door to my teacher friend because I realized I'm outside of my zone of proximal development, right? If you heard my podcast yesterday, episode 3 is zone defense. And I was way outside of my zone of proximal development. So I asked for help. I ran next door to my teacher friend. I was like, what did you lesson plan for today? Because I am just all wrong. They should have never hired me. Like, I am not the person for the job. And she's like, I have like these worksheets. I'm like, perfect. I'm like running down the hall to the copy machine, and I'm like running it off. And we did worksheets the rest of the day. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm such a fraud. Like, I don't know why I thought I was going to be good at teaching. Then by the end of the year, I had it down, right? There's always a learning curve. You're not going to be the same person at the end of the school year as you are on day 1. So give yourself some grace as you learn how to be better at selling the products and selling the business, because you're on day 1, most likely. You're really not on day 1. But in your mind, you might be on day 1. You have lots of life experiences that are going to help you be really good at this. But now you might have a brand new awareness of what you need to do to change. So I would just encourage you to do that using all these systems that are in place to help support you while you are outside of your zone of proximal development, right? Because if you don't know what I'm talking about, go listen to episode 3, zone defense, so you know what I'm talking about. Because you can learn anything at a faster rate if you have a really great coach and teacher there supporting you along the way. Your anxiety goes down, your learning goes up, right? So we're here to support you to do things that are uncomfortable. And that is going to help you learn faster and better than if you were doing it on your own. All right? I love you guys. I hope I didn't hurt anybody's feelings. But I hope that you are inspired to go and change something, because if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to get the same result. So something that you heard today, change it and practice doing it so that you can get better. Okay? Thanks for coming, you guys. Feel free to hang out. And whatever. Thanks for being here, guys.